Hello everyone. I am Teresa Stone of Lightworker Navigation, and today I am honored to bring forward the guided intuitive message for May. I cannot believe that we are already in the month of May, and I don't know about you, but I definitely felt that shift of energy back in April, halfway through the month. It's definitely felt a lot more lighter and a little bit more hopeful, I guess you could say, even, and just that bit of a slowdown. But now it almost feels like we have some tangible energy to actually move forward with and start creating things versus this frantic frenzy kind of energy. Almost kind of feel like you're being a bit blindsided with things as the energy is kind of shifting and changing and moving in such a dynamic way that we've been experiencing for those 3-4 months and even in the 6 months before then, leading up to all of that eclipse energy and everything of March. So this month should feel a lot lighter. I know I'm certainly feeling it energetically, and I am seeing a bit of continued shifts myself. So it will be interesting to see how things continue to shape up for us in May and June. We do have some things happening in the astrological world with the planets. There are some gateways. Of course, we have the full moon, we have the new moon energies and all that. There'll be the shifting of the signs again. So there's always lots of things happening, and I invite you to explore that for yourself to see how those things can take shape for you. So with all that, I would just like to get started right away with the reading here and see what the cards have to say for us, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I didn't have a lot of decks that were pulling my attention for this month. And as I was feeling into the energies, I was noticing a lot about feedback and that connection that we have to ourselves and to the universe and to nature, the elements, to our family members, to our connections. And as I was feeling in, the deck that was really resonating with me, that was pulling my attention the most, was this Moonology deck. And so I thought that I would grab that deck, and a couple others were kind of catching my attention as well. So we do have our first card that fell out here, and this is the new moon in Sagittarius, and it is giving the guidance of focusing on the positive. And so now, as I mentioned, April and the early part of April and March and leading up into March, we did have some pretty potent energy, and there was a lot of just energy just floating around. And so we are being given here the message to focus on the positive. And so this because of all that energy that we've been in, that frenzied energy, and it could have shifted things greatly for us, we may even be feeling, I know for myself, there was some times where I was feeling like, what's the point? Things just seem to kind of fall apart. And where do I go from here? Do I completely redo something? Can I try to salvage something? And it was feeling a little bit like deflated energy, almost like you couldn't see that spark of hope. Like it just seemed to be, there was so much unpreferred shifts happening, that even with all of my understanding about energy and how to sit with yourself and connect with yourself and connect with nature and ask your guides for support and help, it still felt like a lost energy. Like I'm still feeling very lost in the energy. And so we're getting the invitation now to stay focused on a more positive trajectory. We are in softer energy, more grounded energy, so we can start really building the foundation on all of that information and all the shifts and changes and transformations that have been happening, which is really positive. And really, it's like a breath of fresh air. It really feels lighter. It feels so wonderful to get the confirmation that now we can just start shifting into a different energetic state. So let's see what else the cards have to say with this deck. I do love how it's the new moon, because the new moon is also with new opportunities, new energies, new chances to set intentions for where we're at, where we are in May now. We have a lot of new dynamics that we're working with. Some big shifts. And some subtle shifts too, actually. Sometimes change happens behind the scenes. As a friend of mine, I just read in her post, was talking about, and I've got a whole whack of cards that just went down on the floor here. Find balance. Well, we'll take that. That is always something that we can benefit from. Oftentimes, when we have a lot of shift in energies, it can feel very ungrounding and it can feel very overwhelming. And so, finding a balance and finding what works for us is really important. Now, for some, you might be saying, how do I find a balance? I don't know. My life is so crazy. The kids have got to go to school. They've got all their extracurricular activities. You know, I really don't have any time in the day to pause and find any balance. How do I do that? Well, there's a few things, and maybe you've already done these, maybe you haven't, but one of the things that was very difficult for me was delegation, asking for help and support and offloading those tasks. So especially the tasks that were easy to, for somebody else to do, that was a big struggle for me. But once I started asking for help in that regard and delegating some of the tasks that were overwhelming for me, I was able to find more of a balance within my days so that I could have some time to breathe and get grounded. Didn't have to be a lot of time. Sometimes I could just take a minute or two, just put my hand on my heart and just breathe into that beautiful heart space. And then that would be enough for me to get grounded again and then go forward. But when we're talking about, finding a balance in everything, it's looking at how much rest you're getting, looking at how much time you're working, looking at how much time you have for just downtime. Maybe it's watching a movie, maybe it's watching, a show, but not necessarily binge watching unless you're allowing yourself that time in your schedule to set aside to binge watch a whole entire series. But it's making sure that you are finding what works for you and ensuring that you have the proper rest and care and nutrition so that you can show up and be your best self. And so when those more unpreferred moments happen, you can navigate the situation in a more positive, grounded and insightful way, coming from your heart instead of from your mind and going, well, that's not going to work. And how dare this happen? And, why is it always me? Right? When we can get grounded and find that balance and we're in more of a grounded state, we can navigate our situations a little bit better because we don't feel so overwhelmed. We don't feel like, when that piece of straw comes down, it's not gonna, like they say, break the camel's back. So find what works for you. And that's what I can say about that. Find what works for you. I know for myself, I can get very caught up in my work because I'm very passionate about supporting people and helping people. And this is where burnout tends to come in because we tend to want to be all things to all people, or we just get caught up in the things that we love doing. Or sometimes we get caught up in the things that we don't want to do or have to do because it's work and there's deadlines. And then we, put all the stuff that we'd like to do off on the sidelines, and then we never do get a chance to get back to it. So really take some time, look at your schedule, maybe write down, keep a tracker of how much time you're spending in one area, how much time you're getting on your sleep, and just at the end of maybe a week or a couple of days, whatever you can muster up, just do some looking over where you were spending time and see if it's balanced. Like, were you making sure that you were eating good food that was nutritional? Did you have time to do some exercising and getting out into nature? Did you have some time to spend with the kids? Or work or cleaning the house or whatever it is that you need to find some balance within your life with all the tasks and the ins and outs. Just looking over where you were spending time and what was taking the most amount of time, and how you can find a balance within that, what you can delegate, maybe what you can stop doing, what you can start doing, maybe looking at new ways of organizing the schedule that you have to make it more efficient and work in your day instead of being so scattered around, looking at what you can maybe batch process, right? So little things like that can help bring some more balance into your day. So yeah, that's what I would say around that. Okay, is there anything else that wants to come out of this deck, guys? We're checking in with the guides. There's a lot of information that I can there's a lot of energy being moving here, and I can just feel it in the eyes here. Think it through. So we've got the new moon in Gemini. Again, we're surrounded by new moon energy, and that is really beautiful because we are stepping into such a new spring energy for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. And so with that, we've got the new moon in Gemini, and it's inviting us to think it through. So again, that is where we're reflecting, and looking back at, are we in balance? What's out of balance? What needs to shift in our day so that we can actually bring more balance into our life? And we're focusing more on the positive. And I actually would invite us to look at this in a different way as well. Instead of saying focus on the positive, let's look at this as focusing on where we want to go. What are our next action steps? What are we intending to bring forward that is going to spark that joy, that passion, that love that we have, that just lights us up and keeps us moving forward? Where would we like to go? And how are we going to take those steps? What are they? What do we need to do? Don't look at it so much from a big point standpoint, because that can feel very overwhelming. But look at it from, okay, this is what I want to create. This is where my heart is moving me to. What small action step can I take that is going to move me in that direction? And break it down into little baby steps, because that is how we keep moving forward. And that is how we can stay more in a preferred or positive, I guess, if you will, movement forward. And the reflection with this card here is think it through. So take some time before you start really taking those steps to move forward. Think it through. What would be my next action step? And what would be the next one after that? And maybe see if you can, I don't want to say plan out, because we know what happens when we make plans. The universe comes in and says, nope, we're going to do it this way. So set intentions for what you would like, and maybe say, okay, if this, and this is what I want to do, this, and this is the steps that I'm going to take so that I can bring that to fruition. So I like that. This is a very forward momentum, but still reflective energy that we're working with these cards here. So it's very interesting to see, wow, or the fairies are really talking. So hidden depth, and we've got music. Oh, beautiful. So hidden depth. Something hidden is about to come to light, perhaps a secret or a memory at the back of your mind. When we expose what's hidden, we can become free. So that's very interesting. Now, this card, if for everybody, is going to be very unique and very different. So how this shows up for you is anyone's guess. This could be, your kids sharing something with you. It could be your partner. It could be a coworker. It could be your boss. It could be even just something that with yourself, when you be made aware of something, if somebody is sharing something with you and it triggers an aha moment, or it allows you to open up to maybe some of the unhealthy tendencies that you might be doing. So this card here is just guidance saying that something that has been hidden, something that hasn't been in the light or been made aware of, is coming to light. And that's beautiful. That's going to help us to continue to grow. And so the next one here was music, and saying, listen carefully For there may be a message in the music that you hear. Music can lift your soul, rekindle memories, and charm fairies to your door. I love this card, the music. Music is so powerful. It can just shift you through all of the emotions in the matter of moments just by listening to the vibrational frequency of the music, of the lyrics of the music, of the tone, and all that's cohesively working together with music. And if we think about music in regards to the universe and how everything is connected, there is this interconnected, woven, energetic communication that happens between everything on a vibrational frequency level that most of us aren't even aware of. And this interconnection through the vibrational frequency of everything that is all around us is so intricate and so interwoven that when we listen to the vibrational frequencies like the hertz of the solfeggio tones and even just any pieces of music, it vibrationally shifts us. And so music is so powerful and so profound in helping to elevate our moods, and it can also really bring us down, especially when we listen to those very sad or hurtful or even angry music. Like it really has the power to just move us so deeply on an emotional level. So one of the things that I have been using in my own day-to-day life is the frequencies. So I tend to listen and focus mostly onto the 528 or even the 432. However, in this deck here that I have, they've got all the cards kind of laid out. And as they've got the cards all laid out, sorry. And they've got the hertz frequency cards in here. And so it's nice that sometimes when I'm using this deck and for my own self, I will take the guidance that I receive from the cards, whatever frequency tones it tells me, and I will put that on through my day. And I really do feel a shift in my own energy. And since using and really focusing on the frequencies, specifically of the solfeggio, I've noticed some really big shifts in my physical, my emotional, my mental states. And it's really profound, and I absolutely loved it. And I've even shared this with some people who've been struggling with sleep, and so I've been feeling in. I'll check into the energy for them, and I was feeling into what they could benefit most from when it comes to the frequency tones, and oftentimes it's the 528. And so if you were to just Google 528, there are so many places and resources that you can find people who are putting out beautiful tones that you can listen to, and you can have them on either before you go to bed, or you can even play them overnight. And they were saying that their sleep is improving, that their whole like outlook is even improving. And I love how when I was shuffling the deck, the 528 fell out and it's on repair. So one of the beautiful things about 528 is it's known as the miracle tone because it works on regenerating the cells. And so as we have this playing in the background, maybe while we're going to work, or maybe while we're in the kitchen cooking supper, or even if we're in the office, you could have it when the kids are playing. And it just, the energetic frequency of the tones coming through, when it stays in the air and it stays in the energy of the space. And it was really cool. And I noticed this myself when I was actually playing the 528 and the 432 together. And I had it going from right when I got up in the morning, I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning, until I went to bed around like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that. And it was interesting because when I turned it off, for almost 2 days later, I could still feel and sense the frequencies in the air. And when I would come into the room of my office, it was incredibly cool and neat. And I was like, wow, that really is lingering. And I'm looking around and I'm like, but it's not playing. And I kept thinking it was playing, but it wasn't. So it was really cool. So I invite you to have a little bit of fun with the frequencies. And and music in general, and just see how it's shifting you and how it's vibrating with you and how it's either hindering you or helping you to up level and move forward. So I think with this feels really good. I don't actually, they're just telling me, sorry, there's one more that they want to share here. So we're just going to go one more from this deck. There we go. What is it saying? Oh, discernment, the Vega fearless journey. So discernment is really key in everything. So there's a big difference between judgment and discernment. When we come from a place of judgment, we are usually saying something that's more hurtful about somebody, or that's more gossipy about someone or something. And when we are coming from a place of discernment, we are looking at a situation, or we're looking at an experience, and we're looking to see what's working with us, working for us, or not working with us or for us. And it's more about reading the energy of the experience and just going, you know what? This doesn't feel good. It doesn't align with me. I have nothing against these people. I have nothing against the situation. I have nothing against this said thing. But for me, I need to step away because it doesn't resonate with me. There's a difference between that and going, well, this doesn't work for me because I don't like that person's behavior, or I don't like what that person's doing, or I don't like that location, or whatever the case may be. There's a very big difference between being more judgmental about something and being more in a space of discernment, of feeling in with the energy and how it aligns with you and how it supports you, or how it feels like it doesn't support you. And so they're inviting you to feel into that and see how discernment can help you to make more decisions that are going to help you move forward upon your journey, working towards those heart-centered goals and intentions, versus the judgmental perspective of coming forward with why you might not want to do something. And there's another layer to discernment. They're inviting me to share. How are they wording this? Sorry, I'm just trying to make sense of this here. Just give me 1 second. So it's more about ensuring that we're not using discernment or judgments to bypass or avoid an experience. So if we're being guided to go somewhere or do something, or have a conversation with somebody, and we are feeling like we're uncomfortable and we don't really want to do it, it would be a good question to ask ourselves, why do I not want to go there? What is triggering me, or what is creating this feeling? And where is this feeling coming from? Is it because I don't want to really go there because it isn't resonating with me, and feeling into the energy of that? And then you can even say, well, am I feeling pulled to go do this because of a people pleasing aspect? Maybe you're feeling like you're guilted into it. Or is it because it is challenging you on some level to unravel further your beliefs or your patterns, or that limiting point of view, and this experience is going to help unravel that? And so an aspect of you, some can refer to it as the inner child or the shadow, is almost putting up some resistance in not wanting you to do something, because if you do, it will help you to integrate further, and that feels unsafe to an aspect of you. So be very mindful of the experiences or the opportunities or what is arising in your everyday that you're not using discernment or judgment as a form of avoidance. That's the other layer with this card here. So, also another note on the frequencies here to help you work with fear and moving into more of a success energy. The 396 hertz is a really good frequency for that. So with that, I think this feels really good. Oh, nourishment. So when we talk about nourishment, and I did talk about this a little bit earlier here, but it's to nurture yourself. It's when you're looking at what is helping you find a balance, it's making sure that you find some time for that self-care piece and what nourishes you. You know, is it good food? Is it, you know, a more well-balanced meal? Is it that rest? Is it more water? Is it more vitamins, minerals, whatever it is that you can do to help you find a better balance to nourish yourself? Maybe that's spending some time with yourself and your heart and saying I love you, and honoring yourself and where you're at, and really helping yourself to feel really loved and supported in all aspects and all capacities. So take care, everybody, and I am very excited to see how May will unfold for us, and I look forward to seeing you again in June. Alrighty, take care, everybody.